Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
Get your home secured for less than $1 a day, and every caller today immediately qualifies for free installation. Call now.
Call 877-275-0973. 877-275-0973. That's 877-275-0973.
Is this working now? Is this working now? Is this working now? Check, check, check. 111 222. Sound? You? Sound? Up, down, no, yes? Do you have sound? Woohoo! Well, that was stupid. Okay, since essentially we had the 70s Kung Fu movie audio track, let's go back to everything that we talked about in the last few minutes. First, Republican National Committee about the first day. What happened was Donald Trump got tried, and then when there was J.D. Vance and a couple of other people said a bunch of stuff. It was an amazing thing. It was very good because President Trump showed up at the national convention, and it was very emotional. It was incredible, and so on and so on and so forth. J.D. Vance, pretty good guy and everything like that, although people are stomping all over the place and so on and so forth, and now we're up to date. So, Chinese mouth and lips off. By the way, Philip, that was one of the funniest things that people have ever said on this broadcast or on the chat room. You said, what did you say? I want to quote you directly. I want to quote you directly. No audio dummy. Yeah, that's right. Okay, it's not dumb. There's a lot of moving pieces going on. You don't understand how all this works. I have television equipment over here. Then I have a computer over here running the television equipment over here. And this television equipment passes audio and video and so on and so forth. But it's got to go back to the computer. And then you've got to have the exact things picked out on the computer so that you understand and you can hear everything. Now, Philip, is the sync still off? Is my mouth working with the audio? Okay, I don't know that that's it today. But by the way, you look very nice in your blue shirt and tie. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I was actually thinking about this. This should be the way I do the show. I should actually dress like this. But many people said, my God, John, if you do that, you look old. Hey, Philip, do a reset. Do a refresh. Oh, good. So the sync is right? The sync is good, Philip? If not, do a refresh and see if that fixes it. All right. So, now I only have about a minute left. Yes, the land of bad lip sync. I can fix that. I'm going to try this one more time. I am playing with fire. Let's hope it works. I'm going to fix now. How about now? How about now? Got you now. Good. But is the lips and sound synced up now? Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Testing 1 2 3 5. Good. Everything's good there. So is the lip sync correct now? My lips with the sound. Is that going? Still good, Facebook. Okay, so everything's fine. Okay, I'm going to move on. Except I have 18 seconds left in this segment. Okay, shirt, tie, and shorts. No. I'm wearing very Natalie. I'm Natalie clad in beautiful slacks. Well, actually, they're tack pants because I love these damn things. I love tack pants. They just fit my body. They're 24/7 tack pants. Well, they were, but it slipped again. Oh, well, we'll just keep working it until we get it right. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to start the show over with a half hour missing. God, I'm so sorry because we had a lot of people watching and they're going, what the hell is this guy doing? Not only can we not in sync. Great. Okay, so we may have to live with that a little while, but at least you can hear what I'm saying, even if it doesn't actually sync up. I'm going to try to redo that thing one more time. So that we can get this all worked out and get the lip sync right and so on and so forth. But I'm going, no, it's not the firewall. It's me. It's not you. It's me. So this is the Wells Report. We'll be back with more coming up in just a couple of seconds. Try to get the sync right as we continue for this Tuesday morning, year of our Lord. It's July 16th, year of our Lord 2024.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare.
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare.
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
Get your home secured for less than $1 a day, and every caller today immediately qualifies for free installation. Call now.
Call 877-275-0973. 877-275-0973. That's 877-275-0973.
All right. How about now? Can you hear me now? Yes, no. Can you hear me now? Is my lip sync correct? Hello. Are you jerking our chains? No. I can't hear you again. Great. All right. MacBook speakers. How about now? Now you hear me? Okay, wait a minute. Hold it. That's late. Let me go back. Let me go back to this here because I think the MicroTeams audio. It switched itself back. How interesting. Okay. So now, can you hear me? And are my lips syncing properly? Hello. 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 Man, this is one of those things. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes or no? Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Actually, I can probably find this out by going over to here and going over to here and going over to here and hitting this and following channels. Okay, whatever. Let me try to see what. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out. I can hear you now, but lip sync is still off. Okay, so the lip sync is off. We're going to have to deal with it. Because in order to get this fixed. Oh, yeah, let me turn this off. Okay. So what happened is that I had to reset a bunch of stuff. And the computer reset a bunch of stuff while I was resetting a bunch of stuff. And you're listening to this audio through a different channel than I normally run on the computer. You can hear me, but it's not synced up. And the reason is because it's going through a different thing, and I can't access getting that thing. Let me try one more time here. I can't access the audio without doing I can't do it without doing a system reboot, because normally I take an audio out from the computer that syncs everything up, and I can't get there from here. So yes, it's even off on your phone. Yeah, it's off on Rumble too. So forgive me with this. I know it's going to be annoying, but maybe what I can do, I don't usually worry about the lip sync. It's usually off. It's usually off? Why didn't somebody tell me this? Arg! Okay. So we were talking about the Republican National Convention, and I was talking about how I normally get things right on this broadcast. I'm pretty good at it. I'm not perfect. And one of the things that I got wrong about the Republican National Convention was something about Amber Rose. Amber Rose was chosen to be a speaker at the RNC. And I saw a picture on X that showed her in a beautiful white swimsuit giving us what's normally called a beaver shot. And so I said, great. Somebody who is going to address the RNC who believes her fame is paved with a beaver shot on X, or words to that effect. Well, she made her speech last night, and I have to tell you, I was very impressed with it. And I made a mistake when it came to Amber Rose, because who is Amber Rose? I know, we're old, Yvonne. Anyway, Amber Rose is a recording artist. She's a model. She's an entrepreneur. She's basically the new Jay-Z. Anyway, that being said, she made a speech last night, and you really ought to hear it because it was really, really good. So I'm going to play part of it here on the Wells Report. Enjoy.
My name is Amber Rose. I'm a model and entrepreneur. Thank you. But most importantly, I'm a mother. My whole world revolves around providing for my children, keeping them safe, and giving them an opportunity for a better life. That's something that unites all American parents, whether we're Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, or liberals. We all want a better country for our children. But I'm here tonight to tell you, no matter your political background, that the best chance we have to give our babies a better life is to elect Donald Trump President of the United States. Now, you may be wondering why I'm up here telling you this. I'm no politician and I don't want to be, but I do care about the truth. And the truth is that the media has lied to us about Donald Trump. I know this because for a long time I believed those lies, so I'm here to set the record straight. The first person I knew who supported Donald Trump was my father. I was shocked. My entire family is racially diverse, and I believed the left-wing propaganda that Donald Trump was a racist. My father said, "No, he's not, Amber. What are you talking about?" And when I insisted, he said, "Prove it." So to prove my father wrong, I did my research and looked into all things Donald Trump. People have to do their research. I watched all the rallies, and I started meeting so many of you, his red hat wearing supporters. I realized Donald Trump and his supporters don't care if you're black, white, gay, or straight. It's all. And that's when it hit me. These are my people. This is where I belong. So I let go of my fear of judgment, of being misunderstood, of getting attacked by the left, and I put the red hat on too. Thank you.
She was simply delightful. That was a wonderful speech, and she delivered it very, very well. And it was so good that there were people who immediately said, uh-oh, that speech was really, really good. And those people were on CNN. And one of the persons saying just how great a speech it was Van Jones. And I got to tell you, I've talked a lot about the future of the Democrat Party away from progressivism and clear-eyed and professional. And Van Jones is it. Like him, don't like him. Agree with him, don't agree with him. But he nails it time and time again. This from CNN last night with Van Jones after the speech.
This is how you change the composition of the electorate.
Yeah, that was probably the most dangerous speak for the Democratic coalition. That is a young woman of color. She's describing the experience a lot of people have, feeling that maybe if you're around too many liberals, you might get criticized too much, or you might not be able to speak your mind. And she spoke to it really well. And she's way more famous than any of us up here. Yeah. I'm going to tell you that, way more famous. And so to the extent that these guys are trying to bust up our coalition, that was a bunker buster right there.
It was a bunker buster. Yeah, okay, so Van Jones, clear-eyed as always, making good commentary for the sake of his party and for the sake of his network. That guy's good. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the things that he talks about. I don't agree with his policy understandings, but you cannot disagree with the fact that that guy sees it the way he sees it and speaks the truth. And that's not something that you see a lot of, and I'm going to say this plainly, in the Democrat Party. There was another speech last night, a speech I never thought I would ever see, ever. And that had to do with the Teamsters showing up to speak in front of the Republican National Convention. The president of the Teamsters, for the first time in Teamsters history, and the first time, obviously, in the history of the RNC, the Teamsters addressed the convention.
I want to thank the hardworking Teamsters and union members here in Milwaukee who play vital roles in the building and operations of this convention. I also want to thank President Donald Trump for opening the RNC's doors to the Teamsters Union and inviting me to speak before you tonight. travel all across this country and meet with my members every week. You know what I see? An American worker being taken for granted. Workers being sold out to big banks, big tech, corporates, and the elite. And I'm not the only one who sees this. Everyday families see it. The American people aren't stupid. They know the system is broken. We all know how Washington is run. Working people have no chance of winning this fight. That's why I'm here today, because I refuse to keep doing the same things my predecessors did. Today, the Teamsters are here to say we are not beholden to anyone or any party. We will create an agenda and work with a bipartisan coalition ready to accomplish something real for the American worker. And I don't care about getting criticized. It's an honor to be the first Teamster in our 121-year history to address the Republican National Convention.
Sean O'Brien, the president of the Teamsters Union. In point of fact, the Teamsters Union has in the past, they have indeed endorsed Republican candidates. But this is something new. This is something different. Van Jones was just talking about how Amber Rose had delivered a bunker buster to the Democrat coalition. Here's another one. Big labor. Big labor looking at President Trump because they believe that big labor gets a better deal during a Trump presidency than during the self-proclaimed most pro-union president in the history of the nation, and that being Joe Biden. So you're in a position here where the tide is turning. The tide is indeed turning. And so just exactly where is this going to end? Where do we find this country at the end of this election? Well, that could be something that indeed might turn the tide a lot of different directions. As we said, J.D. Vance was installed as the vice presidential pick. He had words to say yesterday during the convention.
J.D. Vance, sir, how are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see
I'm sure you've had a very slow day today.
Yeah, that's right. Nothing happened. Pretty boring.
Nothing happened. Pretty boring day. Let's talk about the process.
Sure.
A lot of questions for you, obviously. What was it like? Because the last couple of days, well, it's down to two, you and Senator Rubio. What was that like for you?
You know, I just tried to enjoy the ride. What an honor to be considered. If it had been Senator Rubio, obviously Marco's a good guy. He's a good friend. So I tried to just have a good attitude about it. You know, my family's very excited, obviously asking a lot of questions. I will say, Sean, I hope I'm not betraying too many confidences here, but when the president called me today to actually formally offer me to become, the vice presidential nominee, which just sounds crazy, my son, my 7-year-old son, was sort of making noise in the background. I'm getting so embarrassed. It's like, oh my God, Donald Trump's asking me to be his vice president.
So the phone rings, he calls you, and you're like, okay, this is the call, or maybe not the call.
Or maybe it's a bad call, right? It's the call. Who knows whether it's good or bad? But then he actually has me put my 7-year-old son on the phone. You think about this, everything that's happened, the guy just got shot at a couple of days ago, and he takes the time to talk to my 7-year-old. It's a moment I'll never forget.
It is a moment that he'll never forget, and that was an interestingly human gesture on the part of the president, who spoke to the son of his new vice presidential running mate, J.D. Vance. There are a lot of people saying a lot of things. J.D. Vance was not a friend of Donald Trump in 2016. As a matter of fact, he said a lot of things that are going to appear in campaign ads in the near future. Because J.D. Vance is part of all of this, and you know what? They're going to exploit that. I'm talking about the Democrat Party and the election machine that works for the Democrat Party. And so, what are those things? I will share a couple of them with you next, and I'll also share why J.D. Vance, after excoriating Donald Trump for years, after excoriating Donald Trump, decided that he was wrong and became the vice president of the United States. There's also a couple of other things that we need to discuss regarding that too, and we'll get to all of it as we continue. Our telephone number, by the way, the telephone number works now. 817-379-2172. 817-379-2172. What do you think of the RNC so far? Let us know.
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
This is the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. The special Kung Fu movie soundtrack in full display today on the Wells Report. I know exactly what's going on, but I can't get there from here without rebooting my computer, and that'll throw more things into the wind, and I'd rather not do that. So let's just deal with the Kung Fu movie dubbed-in version of the Wells Report, if you will. So, J.D. Vance is the new vice presidential pick of Donald Trump. He will be the vice president of the United States if Trump wins this election. He has not been a friend of Donald Trump his whole career. In fact, he said some things that are currently in the news, and we should talk about those, and we will. But first, let's hear from the VP candidate.
Texted a friend that Trump is a cynical a-hole like Nixon who wouldn't be that bad and might even prove useful, and that he's America's Hitler. And you compared him to a cultural heroine in the Atlantic Monthly. And I'll tell you Trump's response, but you said that then. What do you say to people that say, well, wait a minute. What did he mean?
Well, Sean, I don't hide from that. I was certainly skeptical of Donald Trump in 2016, but President Trump was a great president, and he changed my mind. I think he changed the minds of a lot of Americans because, again, he delivered that peace and prosperity. If you go back to what I thought in 2016, another thing that was going on, Sean, is I bought into the media's lies and distortions. I bought into this idea that somehow he was going to be so different, a terrible threat to democracy. It was a joke. Joe Biden is the one who's trying to throw his political opposition in jail. Joe Biden is the one who's trying to undermine American law and order. President Trump did a really good job. And I actually think it's a good thing when you see somebody, you were wrong about him, you ought to admit the mistake and admit that you were wrong.
That's actually not a bad idea. Admitting mistakes, being honest in politics, really? You know, so many people, especially, and this is not a partisan broadcast, but this is an observation. The Democrat Party, when they get caught in something, they double down on whatever the error was and essentially try to ram whatever absurdity that they're being accused of right down the throats of Americans as if it's not absurd. You're just too stupid to understand how things go. Well, that's not real or right. All right. And so we find ourselves in a position where this guy is not breathtakingly, but he is most certainly a breath of fresh air. That's what I meant to say. He's a breath of fresh air when it comes to American politics. Now, there are people saying, okay, so J.D. Vance is going to be the vice presidential pick. How does he match up with Kamala Harris, specifically USA Today? The speculation is finally over. Indeed, former President Donald Trump has named J.D. Vance as his running mate. The pair are widely anticipated to face off against one another in a debate later this year, as all vice presidential candidates have done for more than 3 decades. The pair have not yet agreed on a debate host or date, but they have accepted separate invitations from media outlets. One of Vance's top duties as Trump's newly appointed VP pick will be to draw a stark distinction between himself and Harris in the weeks and months ahead. This year, the spats between the two vice presidential candidates could play an especially important role, as the age of the two presidential candidates, Trump 78, President Joe Biden 81, is a major concern for voters. Vance is just 39 years old. I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, that's Kennedy-esque. Kennedy-esque was young and vigorous when he was the president of the United States and elected so in 1960. The first millennial vice president candidate is 20 years younger than Harris, who is 59. There is, of course, a chance that Harris will not be the Democrat vice presidential nominee. In recent weeks, Democrats have urged Biden to drop out of the race to allow a younger candidate like Harris lead the ticket. If Harris becomes the presidential nominee, she would need to pick a new running mate to go up against Vance. So there is all kinds of intrigue here. Joe Biden had some comments with Lester Holt from NBC. We'll get to those next hour here on the Wells Report. By the way, Kamala Harris was very conciliatory. Here was the statement. Vice President Harris reached out to Senator Vance and left a message to congratulate him on his selection, welcome him to the race, and express her hope the two can meet in the vice presidential debate proposed by CBS News. Good. Good statement. Well issued at the right moment. Good job. Now let's just keep that going. Let's talk about the issues. Let's not talk about how somebody is some despot willing to destroy the nation and kill everyone. Can we please get on with that part of it? I certainly hope so, although it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. There are people already saying stupid things regarding, this new conciliatory age. Insofar, an age, by the way, that started on Saturday when the president of the United States, the former president of the United States, was shot in the ear by a 20-year-old. Okay, so things have changed. The question is, how quickly will people react? And indeed, will the Democrat Party stick to its guns? Probably not. Insofar as throughout this entire campaign, they've made Donald Trump the issue. Well, Donald Trump is no longer the issue. The issue now is what will the Democrats talk about, since they can't say that Donald Trump is Hitler. The president, and by the way, yes, it's absolutely true. There have been pieces of rhetoric that are equally scurrilous from the Republican side of the ledger. But what it did was it almost got a former president of the United States killed. And we've talked about that for years on this broadcast. The Wells Report has consistently tried to get these people to reach out towards civility when it came to dealing with political differences. Who knows? I'm just glad we didn't have to see a president shot to death on national television to make it happen. President Biden is next. Where is he going to go? We're going to find that out as we continue with hour number 2 of the Kung Fu movie soundtrack edition of the Wells Report. We'll be back with more coming up in just a couple of seconds. Thanks again for joining us on this Tuesday, 16th day of July, 2024.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
Get your home secured for less than $1 a day, and every caller today immediately qualifies for free installation. Call now.
Call 877-275-0973. 877-275-0973. That's 877-275-0973.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA. the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship.
Call 877-655-6870. That's 877-655-6870. 877-655-6870.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
North to south, coast to coast, around the world. This is the Wells Report. Good morning, I'm John David Wells. On this broadcast, we report the news honestly and fairly. We analyze the news for fact and bias. We point out both. We de-propagandize the mainstream media. We also make commentary. Commentary is not news. We change the entire look of the broadcast when I'm talking about my opinion. This is news. This is opinion. Because we want you to know the difference. It used to be law that we would differentiate, broadcasters would differentiate between news and opinion. And that was set aside in 1996 with the Telecom Act passed during the Clinton administration. It was a mistake. And we now know why. But we don't do that here on the Wells Report. No, we make sure that you know what the news is and we know what the opinions are. You have one too, by the way. Share it so we can debate. News, analysis, commentary, and debate. So, the RNC is going on. The President of the United States is trying to account for scurrilous rhetoric, calling President Trump a threat to democracy. From Democrat circles and Republicans, too, as we just found out with J.D. Vance being extremely harsh with President Trump during the 2016 campaign. The bad words have been thrown out. Once you compare somebody to the most evil human being in the history of the human endeavor, two things. One, where do you go from there? And two, there will be people listening, including a disaffected loner 20-year-old who tried to kill President Trump on Saturday. Obviously, we've gone too far. The political process has gone too far, but you don't have to go to the political process. No, what you can do is you can go to any social media and you will see the unbelievably rude conversations between people who disagree politically. People are watching this on X. Right this very moment, they're watching this broadcast on X. They're also probably saying, how come his lips and his sound don't go together? Well, we'll fix that later. But people on X are routinely calling people names, questioning their judgment and their mentality. There are all kinds of things going on that are awful. And yeah, we need to reduce the temperature. Lester Holt called President Biden to task on this during an NBC interview. You've seen this piece of this video probably, but if you haven't, check this out. This is Lester Holt being a journalist and talking to the president. Also listen to the president's answer because there was another Biden gaffe right in the middle of it. Check this out, which you'll see more of tonight.
You called your opponent an existential threat on a call a week ago. You said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. There's some dispute about the context, but I think you appreciate.
I didn't say crosshairs. I was talking about focus on. Look, the truth of the matter was, what I guess I was talking about at the time was, there's very little focus on Trump's agenda.
Yeah, the term is bullseye.
It was a mistake to use the word. I didn't say crosshairs. I meant bullseye. I meant focus on him. Focus on what he's doing. Focus on his policies. Focus on the number of lies he told in the debate.
Yeah. That was the president mistaking the word crosshairs for bullseye, insofar as the gunman, from what we understand, was using an optic. There would be crosshairs, and he made it worse by trying to make it better. That conversation continued with Lester Holt asking the president of the United States just exactly who he listens to when it comes to people calling for his resignation as the president of the United States and certainly stepping away from the 2024 campaign.
Who do you listen to on deeply personal issues like the decisions whether to stay in the race or not?
Me. Look, I've been doing this a long time. The idea that I'm the old guy, I am. I'm old. But I'm only 3 years older than Trump, number one. And number two, my mental acuity has been pretty damn good. I've gotten more done than any president has in a long, long time, in 3.5 years.
Yeah. And that conversation can be seen and heard on NBC's website, NBCnews.com. And you should watch it because it's important that you do so. That interview was, as I said, hey, it depends on your point of view. Was the president indeed being honest with himself? When the president says, I listen to me when it comes to how I'm going to stay in the race or not stay in the race, resign from office, not resign from office, I listen to me, that plays into the narcissist scenario, the narcissist narrative that's being applied to President Biden. Those of us who have dealt with aged fathers, for example, can recall times when you try to take the car keys away. That's basically what we have here. Here is the NBC reporting on that particular interview. After having tempered attack on Donald Trump following the assassination attempt, President Joe Biden plunged into campaign mode yesterday, defending his decision to remain in the presidential race despite calls for him to exit. This from NBC News. In an interview with Lester Holt, Biden at times grew combative, said he isn't leaving the race even though some Democrat leaders have expressed fears he cannot win. He said, I'm old, but I'm only 3 years older than Trump. Number one, and number two, my mental acuity's been pretty damn good. If you say so, Mr. President, others of us would say something else. I understand. I understand why people say, God, he's 81 years old. Whoa. What's he going to be when he's 83 years old or 84 years old? It's a legitimate question to ask. The interview is the latest in a series of events, rallies, and Q&As Biden has done since his dismal performance during the debate with Trump on June 27th. Remember, this is NBC News here. Alarmed by his halting delivery, some Democrat lawmakers have questioned whether he has the vigor to carry the fight against Trump. Biden made it plain he would not yield. Democrat voters picked him to head the ticket during the primary season. He said, I listen to them, after saying that he listens to himself. Holt asked Biden whom he consults with when it comes to issues like remaining in the race or dropping out. Me, I've been doing this for a long time. We knew this was going to be a close race from the moment he announced, said Biden. The polling data shows different things. There's no wide gap between us. It's essentially a toss-up. In a new NBC News poll found that Trump led Biden by 2 percentage points. That is the margin within the margin of error. However, the poll also revealed that more than 60% of Democrats say they prefer someone else at the top of the ticket. 80% of all voters said they were concerned about Biden's mental and physical capabilities. In his post-debate push to prove that he's cogent and competent, Biden has at times stoked concern about both. In a few hours Thursday, he referred to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky as President Putin, his vice president, Kamala Harris, as Vice President Donald Trump. During the interview with NBC News, Biden mumbled at times. His voice trailed off at others. What I'm doing is going out and demonstrating to the American people that I have command of my faculties. I don't need notes. I don't need telepro. That's teleprompter. I can go out and answer my questions at all. I can go out and answer my questions at all. That's transposing a couple of different sentences. I don't need a teleprompter. I can go out and answer my questions at all. He called on the news media to hold Trump to a similar degree of scrutiny, referring to fact checks showing that Trump made multiple erroneous claims during the debate. He asked, why doesn't the press ever talk about that? I had a bad night. I wasn't feeling well at all, and I had been without making. I screwed up. That is a quote. In deference to the shooting, the Biden campaign temporarily pulled down its advertising while he phoned Trump to ask about his condition and wish him well. He delivered a speech from the Oval Office, urging Americans to avoid overheated political rhetoric that may give rise to anti-democratic violent acts. His combative tone during the interview, however, suggested that any pause in hard-edged campaigning is over. Biden referred to his opponent as Donald over the weekend. It's now back to Trump. I'm not the guy who said, quote, I want to be a dictator on day one, unquote, said Biden, referring to Trump. I'm not the guy who refused to accept the outcome of the 2020 election. I'm not the guy who said he wouldn't accept the outcome of this election. You can't only love your country when you win. That is the President of the United States. That is Joe Biden. So, he is trying. He's working hard. I don't necessarily believe that President Biden is completely out of it when he is in a position where he's inside his mind trying to figure out what he's going to say. The problem is the connection between his mind and the ability to communicate it. That's the problem. That comes with old age. And that is something that the president will not be able to escape. And yeah, it's sad in a way, but it's also the reality of time. The president is old. When he says he's only 3 years older than Trump, put the two guys together, side by side. Objectively, you determine who is younger and who is older. It's easy. And once again, I'm not trying to denigrate President Biden. I'm reporting the facts. This is a news broadcast. I do have commentary on it. The president needs to realize that he is hindered. It is not of his, it's not a condition of his own making. It is a fact of life. And I have said this on several occasions and have indeed walked the walk. Being a team player sometimes means knowing when to sit down. And I don't believe the president of the United States is at that point yet. So he went on to say, and this was also very difficult to wrap your mind around. He said he hadn't engaged in violent rhetoric against President Trump. That's not true. That was simply not true. And it was simply sad that he would say something like that. I don't know where that came from, except that maybe he had a lapse of memory or just is trying to deny the reality that he has been bordering on scurrilous in his descriptions of President Trump. Now, you can decide, this is up to you. You decide what you think. You decide what you see. And the Democrat Party will certainly do that. Will they cast President Biden over the side in favor of a new candidate? I don't think so. I have said for a long time that I don't believe that Joe Biden is going to be the nominee of the Democrat Party, and that's still in play. But the simple case of the matter is the Democrat Party will now have to determine whether or not who they want to lose this election. Do they want one of their bench candidates waiting in the wings for an opportunity at power to be the person that loses this election? Or do they roll forward with the President of the United States and say, okay, he wants to run, we'll let him run? I will say this. When President Biden, during the interview with Lester Holt from NBC, said that I don't need a teleprompter, he has been out without a teleprompter. One of the best statements he's made in this campaign had nothing to do with his policies. It was the immediate press conference after the assassination attempt against President Trump. He then had two more statements that were basically a short regurg of the same thing he said off the cuff in front of the press corps. That was a good statement. Was it perfect? No. No, it wasn't. But you watch this broadcast, listen to this broadcast, I don't get it all. I don't get all the words in the right order either. And so, there it is. We've looked at both candidates. The political process continues. But there is someone else, another player in this. It's the media. We'll discuss that as we continue. This is the Wells Report.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
Get your home secured for less than $1 a day, and every caller today immediately qualifies for free installation. Call now.
Call 877-275-0973. 877-275-0973. That's 877-275-0973.
This is the Wells Report. Good morning. John David Wells with you. Thanks very much for being a part of our broadcast. There is a third player in all of this. It is the mainstream media. The mainstream media has decorated itself with corruption when it comes to reporting on politics. It is pervasive, widespread, biased, and wrong. That bias does not extend only to the left, it also extends to the right. The coverage of the RNC on Fox is essentially a pep rally, and the pep rally is being led by their commentators. Meanwhile, over on CNN, there are people that are doing the exact same thing, except in an opposite. Except for Van Jones, who's pointing out, hey, this is serious business here. These people are getting it right. And he's correct. However, there is also MSNBC. MSNBC leads the league when it comes to journalistic malpractice, indeed journalistic corruption. And one of the people that is, or two of the people involved in that are Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski. They were put on the bench yesterday because NBC didn't want to hear what they had to say regarding the assassination attempt. And they had comments on that today. Here are some of them.
That something else was going to be broadcast. So we are here today going through a lot, catching up a little bit, but we want to be here for our audience, and we know you trust us, and we have ultimate respect for you guys. So we are here today. I wish we'd been here yesterday.
Yeah, we all wish we would have been here yesterday. We still would like to figure out exactly why there wasn't that one news feed.
And I think the reason why is this show began and continues 17 years later on being the place where you can go to have the hard conversations in a civil way. And so it seemed like now more than ever is a time that we would like to be on. And I think our viewers agree with that. So we continue. We are 5 minutes past the top of the hour.
No, and let me just say, next time we're told there's going to be a news feed replacing us, we will be in our chairs.
We'll be sitting here.
Yeah, and the news feed will be us, or they can get somebody
We'll still
else
be sitting here
to host the show.
Yeah, there'll be somebody else to host the show. That's how you get fired from a broadcasting position from your employer. That's how you do it. So if you enjoy Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, you may want to try to pay attention for the next few days or weeks, because I'm reasonably sure that NBC News is not going to put up with that. I've been in broadcasting for over half a century. Over half a century. And I have talked myself out of positions just like that. And it has been consistent throughout my career and the careers of others that when you start biting the hand that feeds you, you find yourself very much like some other noted broadcasters. You find yourself in a position where you're doing something else. Chris Cuomo is now on a network that not a lot of people watch. Tucker Carlson decided to go to X, and he has more viewers now than he has ever had in his entire career. He's brilliant, and he does a great job. Should he perhaps still be on the list of Fox News commentators? Yeah. But then again, Tucker Carlson got crossways with his management, and people took him out. Was it because he was kind of a jerk? Maybe. Was it because he was too effective? Probably. And so now you can find him on X. He does these wonderful essays, and you can see him on X along with this broadcast. So all I can tell you is that the mainstream media is now facing a reckoning that I have been predicting for years. It's high time. It's essential. It is something that will indeed prove the point that America indeed is a self-correcting mechanism. And the correction is underway.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
Get your home secured for less than $1 a day, and every caller today immediately qualifies for free installation. Call now.
Call 877-275-0973. 877-275-0973. That's 877-275-0973.
News, analysis, commentary, and debate. This is the Wells Report. On Saturday, the former president of the United States, was the victim of a would-be assassin. That this would-be assassin was able to carry out his unsuccessful plan is something that the people of the United States and the news media have been reporting in varying degrees of accuracy. But the situation remains extremely clear to most people, insofar as what you have obvious, even to a layman, serious breaches in security. ABC News has been reporting the story very, very well. David Muir from World News Tonight had this report, and I want to share that with you here on the Wells Report.
Tonight, there are fast-moving developments after the assassination attempt. Tonight, remarkable new images here. The alleged gunman seen climbing to the roof just minutes before opening fire at that rally. You can actually hear people in the crowd yelling to an officer, pointing him out. And now we learn that law enforcement was actually using that building as a staging area, and how the gunman climbed onto the roof, the wall outside that building. And ABC's Pierre Thomas tonight with the exclusive interview with the head of the Secret Service and what she's saying now.
Stunning new video tonight showing the moment Donald Trump's would-be assassin climbed onto the roof of that building just 2 minutes before he opened fire.
Yeah, look, there he is.
You can hear bystanders desperately trying to alert police. Authorities now using that video as part of the investigation. And tonight, ABC News has learned that heavily armed local police were stationed inside that building and missed Thomas Crooks climbing up the outside of the building to the roof. The same building was being used as a staging area for local police, according to 2 law enforcement officials. And Butler Township officials are confirming ABC News' reporting that a local police officer climbed up the roof and confronted Brooks moments before the shooting.
The officer grabbed hold of the edge of the building, pulled himself up to be able to look, and according to what he's told me, shooter turned, rifle was pointed at the officer. The officer, defensive move, kind of ducked, fell, lost his grip on the building.
Investigators tonight trying to determine whether roof access had been properly locked down. The shooter climbing seemingly unimpeded, about 400 feet from the stage, with a direct line of sight on the former president.
Take a look at what happened.
Washington lawmakers demanding answers, calling on the Secret Service director to appear before Congress. We sat down with Director Kim Cheadle today for an exclusive interview.
What was your reaction when you saw the events unfold on Saturday?
Shock, and then concern, obviously, for the former president. This is an event that should have never happened.
Who is most responsible for this happening?
What I would say is that the Secret Service is responsible for the protection of the former president.
So the buck stops with you?
The buck stops with me. I am the director of the Secret Service. It was unacceptable, and it's something that shouldn't happen again.
The president and Homeland Security Secretary said today they had 100% confidence in you, but there are some members of Congress calling on you to resign.
I appreciate the Secretary's comments, and we're going to continue to be transparent and communicate with people.
You plan to stay on? Absolutely.
I do plan to stay on.
Director Cheadle says she will not wait on an independent review of the security failure. She says she plans to make immediate changes. We learned today she's already expanded the tactical or SWAT support for former President Trump. David?
Pierre Thomas here in Milwaukee with us. Pierre, thank you.
All right, so that was the report from ABC News First Rate. David Muir is a sincere and good pro when it comes to news. You don't hear him talking about his personal ideology. You don't hear him doing anything except what we attempt to do here, which is to report the news. Just honestly and fairly. And I like David Muir. I think he's probably one of the best that we have so far. And so, what do we have? Well, in that particular piece of an interview with the director of the Secret Service, Kim Cheadle, what we have is one, yes, something went very wrong, obviously. 2, we are looking at everything. We've made some changes. 3, I'm not planning on going anywhere. Well, that's something that should be a foregone conclusion. I don't have any idea what Kim Cheadle is trying to get done. All I can tell you is she did not get it done. If you are someone who has a direct line to the president, crawling on a roof with a long gun, or even if you're not crawling on a long gun with a long gun, that's a deadly force requirement. The sniper should have taken him out immediately after double checking to make sure that he was unauthorized to be there. We knew he was unauthorized to be there because there were people pointing at the guy climbing up on the roof. Why didn't the snipers take out that person? Don't know. Don't have any idea. That should have happened long before the rifleman ever got his shot off, or shots. As it turns out, there was one aimed shot that got the president's ear. There were a couple after that. And then there was just a rapid fire into the crowd that wounded 2 and killed 1. So, why is Kim Cheadle still in her job? I don't have any idea. The buck does stop with her. And that brings us to a heart-rending conversation that takes us all the way back to the presidency of Barack Obama. When President Obama realized the power of the bureaucratic process of the United States government, and as a community organizer in Chicago, organized the executive branch agencies to start playing politics, which they did. The FBI, the CIA, the Department of Homeland Security, the NSA, the National Security Agency. And those people played ball. The IRS was involved. And those politics created grave damage to these United States. But they also created grave damage to themselves. The deep state was, it was just a conspiracy theory, except it wasn't. As time has gone by, as lawfare has been practiced against Donald Trump, most of which he is defeated, and I can't imagine that the rest of these cases won't immediately go the way of all things. The latest being Judge Eileen Cannon setting aside the charges against President Trump for his handling of classified documents. This in light of Joe Biden's handling of classified documents, in light of Hillary Clinton's handling of classified documents, and the sheer weight of reality that said this case was improperly drawn, improperly put together by an improperly appointed person. There's no excuse for that. Attorney General Merrick Garland put Jack Smith into that job and knew what he had to do, which was to get advice and consent that person, Jack Smith, could be indeed a special prosecutor going after a former president. He did not do that. The man is a judge. I'm talking about Merrick Garland. I don't know what he was thinking. And in the parlance of the day, I'm not sure that a lot of people in the Biden administration know what they're thinking, let alone what they're saying. But one of the incredible virtues of the information age is that we have all of this information in front of us. Can you imagine what would have happened in 1963 when John Kennedy was blown to pieces on a street in Dallas, Texas, if everybody had their own way of recording that event? As was said on Fox News this morning, we would have known what happened during that day in Dallas, wouldn't we? Well, now we have another situation here. We have all of these federal agencies that have decidedly played politics, destroying their reputations, and now those same organizations are indeed involved in investigating themselves. Yes, there is an independent investigation. Yes, Kim Cheadle says she's going to cooperate with it. She can't do anything else. But she also says she's going to be transparent. She's been anything but transparent. She needed to be out there on day one talking about just exactly what she knew at the time, even if it appears to be a very difficult situation for us. We'll have more details and we'll give them to you. In fact, we'll have another press conference coming up at 5 this afternoon. and then at 9 the next day, and then at 5 the next day, and then at 9 the day after that, and then at 5 the day after that. But that didn't happen. Why? Well, that takes us right back to the deep state, doesn't it? The deep state willing to twist American law, distort American law for the purposes of lawfare, and indeed not do what is required based on reasoning that can only be surmised at. For evil to triumph, it only needs good men or women to stand by and do nothing. So just exactly what did Kim Cheadle do? Moreover, what did she not do? In the heightened, scurrilous, dangerous, rhetorical political world we live in, it should have been something that was pretty simple. The simplicity of it is we have to expand the perimeters outside of small arms range to protect the life of a former president. And that was not done. Now, there is scattered reporting that is unconfirmed at this time, but I have this from 2 different news sources, which is how we do business here on the Wells Report. We wait until we have confirming evidence before we report it to you. Both Fox News and ABC are reporting that this particular gunman did indeed go through a metal detector and indeed had a rangefinder on his person. He was then called a potential bad actor that required surveillance. Then they lost him. So if he went through a metal detector, he didn't have a rifle with him, but he did have a rangefinder. And then they lost him. And then suddenly he appears on the roof with a rifle. It's possible that indeed what happened was that he had placed that rifle in place before he got to the roof, or to a place where he could retrieve it, climb up on the roof, and do his work. We don't know any of this because we haven't seen the results of the investigation. And yes, I have called for patience. And all I'm doing at this particular moment is bringing the most cogent fact to this conversation, along with my questions and my comments, which is why we're talking on this camera. That guy should have been taken out minutes before he had a chance to take a shot at the president. But he wasn't. Why? Why was that? And so we have to go back to the possibility that maybe Kim Cheadle wanted to do just enough so that she could say, I did everything that I was supposed to do. We don't know anything about this kid. We do know a couple of things about him. He had enough acumen to show up on the rooftop with no ID. No ID, huh? That's interesting. We also have another problem, widely reported in the mainstream media, that indeed they had no idea who this person was, but somehow they knew he was 20 years old. As I said I guess it was yesterday, what did they do? After they blew his head off, did they count the rings in his brainstem to figure out that he was 20 years old? That, by the way, was something that Brian Kilmeade said this morning on Fox News, Fox and Friends. I chuckled. So what we have here is we have incomplete information. Information that is readily obvious. Conclusions that could be drawn through simple logic. Okay, we know he's 20, but we don't know who he is. That kind of pegs the bullshometer. So there is no transparency coming from the Secret Service, which means that Kim Cheadle needs to resign forthwith, immediately. There are an awful lot of people now waiting for answers from Kim Cheadle. There's supposed to be a congressional investigation, a very quick one. They've asked for an immediate briefing, which could have happened yesterday, or certainly will happen today. She will be forced to testify if she's still in office, and I can't imagine if she resigns from office that she wouldn't be immediately subpoenaed. So we have a problem. It involves the possible assassination of a president, and it is eerily similar to a successful assassination of a president. We're not going through this again. We're simply not. This is the Wells Report. Thanks very much for being a part of our broadcast. Our telephone number 817-379-2172. By the way, the phone works. Why don't you give it a try?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
Consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
This is the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Breaking news at this hour. The jury in the federal corruption trial of Senator Bob Menendez, the Democrat from New Jersey, and two of his business associates, Fred Diabez and Wael Hanna, have found Menendez guilty on all charges after a grueling 9-week complex trial in Manhattan. Menendez pled not guilty to federal charges that he'd accepted an array of bribes in exchange for helping foreign governments. Jurors deliberated for 3 days. The conviction on all 16 counts against him exposes Menendez to a sentence of up to 200 years in prison. It is unlikely he will get that many years. The judges scheduled the senator to be sentenced on October 29th. Prosecutors have not come close to meeting their burden to show you any of the gold or cash was given to Senator Menendez is a bribe. That was Menendez's defense attorney, Adam Fee, in his closing statement. And indeed, that did not convince the jury. The absence of evidence should be held against the prosecution. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer responded to the verdict by calling on Senator Menendez to resign. Quote, in light of this guilty verdict, Senator Menendez must now do what is right for his constituents, the Senate, our country, and resign. In his 5-hour closing argument today, prosecutor Paul Monteleone urged jurors to hold the New Jersey Democrat accountable for his alleged misconduct. This is a big case, but it all boils down to a classic case of corruption on a massive scale. That is the very latest. There will be more news on that as we continue here on the Wells Report and throughout the news media, I'm sure. Hopefully, the news that will be reported on this will even be accurate. Cross your fingers. The head of the Secret Service revealed the shooter who tried to kill former President Donald Trump was identified as, quote, a potential person of suspicion, unquote. But by the time the units were able to track him down, he had managed to open fire at a rally in Pennsylvania. This reporting from Fox News ignores the fact that he was seen on the roof, not just by people, but also by the counter-sniping teams. What were they waiting for? You know, I have some very expensive optics on some very expensive rifles. And you know what? From 150 yards, let's just use a round number. From 150 yards, you can tell when somebody is armed with a rifle. A potential person of suspicion because he went through some metal detector with a rangefinder. A guy on a roof where he's not supposed to be. And he has a rifle. Now, I'm not a big fan of Monday morning quarterbacking. Okay? But I will give you a couple of different things. One, I made a shot on a sparrow at 150 yards with a cheap Kmart single shot 22. It was a cold, windy day. I was shooting a 22 long rifle. The ballistics are that there's an 1.5 inch drop at 100 yards with a 22 long rifle cartridge. The bird was about 150 meters or 150 yards, so I gave it 3 inches, plus the wind was blowing from left to right. I added 1.5 inches of wind value and took the bird out on open sights. What I'm telling you is that the counter snipers were not just able to see that he had a rifle through their optics, but they could count the zits on his face. And they didn't shoot him? If I'd been on that roof, the guy would have been gone. Would have been gone. Now, we don't know the communications between the counter-sniping teams and whoever watches through their scopes, which, by the way, is another interesting feature. Not only can the sniper see, the counter-sniper can see through the scope, but people can also see through the scope beyond the sniper himself. The guy standing closest to President Trump pulled off the shot. The kill shot was conducted by his backup and observer, the guy laying down on the roof after the shot had been taken. Now, a lot of this begins to edge into classified information regarding sources, methods, capabilities, etc., communications that none of us really need to know anything about. But what's plain is that something bad went wrong on that Saturday afternoon in Butler, Pennsylvania. And because of the current circumstances in which we live, the political bastardization of federal law enforcement, it is inescapable to ask, were they trying to get President Trump killed? I hope that's not the case. Because I think at this point, I have a great deal of faith still in parts of American federal law enforcement. But this is bad. It's waning. And it's quite possible that this may lead to federal charges against the sitting director of the Secret Service, charged with protecting these people and failing miserably on Saturday. That's the way I see it. My name is Wells. That's my opinion. What's yours? 817-379-2172. You'll have to wait until tomorrow because this is the end of the broadcast for today. Sorry about all the technical glitches at the beginning, but what we will do is we'll get those solved and taken care of. And we'll see you tomorrow for more news, analysis, commentary, and debate on the Wells Report. God bless. Take care. Be safe.